What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Zuggy Zone. That was weird. I don't know why the intro lagged or why the audio wasn't coming through. That is something that I will need to keep an eye out throughout today's stream. But we are happy to be back, and I think I know exactly what the problem is. It'll be fixed in 3, 2, 1, and the problem is fixed. Wow, look at that. I'm just a dingus. I was rushing to get the show started today, but we are in it now. We are ready to go. And Jet, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I mean, it coming up on midterms, the final of midterms. It's going to be a nice, relaxing weekend. I'm very excited.
Well, I'm excited to get through these first 8 weeks of classes. Had a teacher accusing me of cheating on an assignment today. She wasn't entirely wrong, but we're trying to get through it, man. Just trying to survive senior year here. But we're gonna jump into our first story of the day in the weekly wrap up, which has to do with my Buffalo Bills and your former favorite team, the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, look, it's no secret the Buffalo Bills look like shit right now. They are not playing good football. They were favored by 8 points against the Patriots. They lost. Favored by 4 against the Falcons. They lost and got dominated. And I got a lot of feelings on them, but Jet, what are your thoughts on the Buffalo Bills right now?
Look, they're struggling, and obviously they need to work out some very obvious kinks in their performances. Like, for one, why not just give the ball to James Cook to run it a little bit more? I know that he was pretty much absent this past thing. I mean, the Patriots is not that bad of a loss. I get division rivals, that's where it stings the most. But the Patriots aren't that bad of a team so far this year. The Falcons, there's no excuse. Y'all should have blown them out of the water. That should not have been a, 21-7 stat line going into the half for the Falcons. So, yeah, no, there's really no excuses on that second game.
Yeah, I like what you say about James Cook. I'm just going to go down the list here. No coach is being left untouched here today. They're all bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll start off with this, with ownership. I put a tweet out earlier this week talking about how I'm glad that the Blues and Cardinals don't share an owner because the Bills and the Sabres do, and the Pagula family does absolutely nothing with the Sabres. So what makes you think, oh, the Bills are good? They're not going to touch them. If they won't touch the Sabres, they're not going to come save us. They're not going to get rid of Bean. They're not going to get rid of McDermott. But here's why they should. So McDermott was the play caller for a year after Leslie Frazier ended up taking a leave of absence from football. I would too if I lost that 13 seconds game, which I actively wanted to die after. So Bobby Babich took over. The Bills have not had a top 10 defense in the 2 years he's been the defensive play caller for the Buffalo Bills. They've been injured. There's not a lot of talent there. The draft picks from Bean have not supplemented them at all, even though we're going defense in the draft. None of those players have made any impact, and I'll give you a stat on that later. Then on offense, you have Joe Brady. Josh Allen has been throwing the ball less and less and less every single year he's been in the league, despite our O-line getting better. Which, it used to be we didn't have a run game. We do now. So why are we calling end arounds to Elijah Moore on 4th and 1 instead of giving it to James Cook or Josh Allen? Last year, we were one of the best teams in the National Football League on 3rd and 4th and short because we could do the tush-push as well. And it didn't work against the Chiefs in the championship game, so what did we do? We don't need that anymore. It worked. It's a great regular season play. The Chiefs were just a really solid team. We caught them at the wrong time, and we didn't execute in that game. And actually, we did execute, and that was a first down, but the league robbed us. Anyways, moving on from that, Brandon Bean, he had 10 draft picks last year. 10 of them. A big draft for the Bills, an opportunity to really supplement this roster, get us out of the cap situation we're in by getting some young talent. 3 of them are playing, and most of the time it's as a backup. The other 7 have basically played 0 snaps with this team, have done absolutely nothing, are practice squad guys. We wasted all of those draft picks. You got Keon Coleman, Ray Davis, and I'm blanking on the other guy because I'm pissed right now. And honestly, the other guy, Cole Bishop, he's been okay. Keon Coleman, we drafted him because Josh Allen wanted the big tall guy. You passed up on Xavier Worthy. You could have had Ladd McConkey. As a matter of fact, you gave Xavier Worthy to the Chiefs because you traded with them. Don't help the team that beats you every year in the playoffs. Don't even make a deal with them. Their phone should be blocked on your GM's number.
And not to kind of throw fuel on the fire on that one.
Go ahead.
Not only did the Bills give Xavier Worthy to the Chiefs this past draft, right? The draft before 2 years ago. y'all gave him Patrick Mahomes in like 2017 too.
Yeah,
so
we
like
did.
you guys have built the Bills have built the Chiefs offense better than the Chiefs have built the Chiefs offense.
Now, in that Mahomes trade, we did end up getting the pick that secured Josh Allen, I believe. So, it could have been worse. We could have ended up with like Josh Rosen in that year's draft because everyone wanted the Bills to draft Josh Rosen, and instead we got Josh Allen. So, hey, it could have been worse.
It could have been worse.
But over that time, Brandon Beane has done absolutely nothing to supplement this roster. It's bringing in old friends and culture fits to fill in spots. We have no star power on the defensive side of the ball, and all the guys we just extended are dog shit.
Other than Joey Bosa. But then Joey Bosa has also been absent
he's been injured. He's on a snap count because he's old. Congratulations, Bean. You brought in another old guy who's going to get hurt halfway through the season. Congratulations, dude. Just hang the banner now. Off-season champions, Buffalo Bills, because we're not going to win a damn championship with McDermott, Bean, or the Pagulas. We're wasting Josh Allen's prime, and I don't see it getting any better. Again, we're going to do the normal thing. We're going to win some games coming up. People are going to be like, oh, the Bills are fine. Get in the playoffs, get exposed like we do every year. Yippee. Such a fun time. The Chiefs. Let's move on to them, because at least this is more fun to talk about.
Because we were talking about how, they kind of help build the, or the Bills help build their offense. However, it looks like they didn't need the Bills' help because the NFL themselves was helping them. That's right. There is now scientific proof from UTEP saying that the Chiefs actually received favorable calls from between 2015, so a couple years before Mahomes was there, to 2023, the year that Kelsey and Swift were made.
And this is playoffs. This study is based primarily off of the playoffs. So the regular season is the regular season.
This is both. But this is heavy focused on playoffs.
No. This is the heavy the regular season stuff doesn't necessarily matter on this. The big part of the study was done on postseason data. The majority of it. So this is not the regular season the NFL wants the spread covered. This is playoffs are on the line. You're either going to be crashing out or drinking with the buddies after the game because your favorite team won or lost. And the NFL is pulling this shit. Continue.
So, to kind of build on that, right? The study stated, first and foremost, that when the league's financial health is at stake, rule enforcement may subtly shift to protect market appeal. Market appeal. Bear in mind, 2015, you had Alex Smith. Yes, you had Travis Kelce. What else did you have? You didn't have anything, really. Like, the Chiefs were the Chiefs, but they were a Midwestern team.
Right.
They weren't like the Cowboys. They weren't like the Ravens. They weren't like the Rams, who literally the year before made that whole blockbuster move away from St. Louis, fuck you, Kroenke, and went to Los Angeles. But yet you favored the Chiefs, which ultimately now 3 Super Bowls.
I will say this. They included those years in the study because those years kept things non-biased because the Chiefs would make the playoffs and they wouldn't go anywhere. So you have to include that data in there to not skew it. And even with that data being there, the years with Alex Smith, the years of losing in the playoffs, the years of getting screwed over, even with that, the data still suggests that the Chiefs are getting favorable calls in the postseason. And this is not just based off of base numbers. You can't just go and look at total penalties and all of these things because good teams commit less penalties. And then guess what? The Chiefs have been really freaking good over the last few years, if you haven't noticed. And they also force their opponents to commit more penalties. So keep that in mind as well. Plus, they've gotten some easy first-round opponents in a lot of these years in the playoffs. Then when they haven't, they got my team, which, is pretty easy for them to beat. Anyways, so
2 last little things on that one. We're not going to dwell on it much longer, but, y'all deserve to know that if you think the Chiefs are cheating, they are.
Well, it's not their fault either. It's the NFL. It's not like Andy Reid. It's not like with Belichick where it was Spygate or Deflategate or Bountygate.
No, this is like NFL stepping in and being like, we need to protect our profits. Like, no, this is NFL and officiating. But so in playoff games, penalties against the Chiefs opponents were almost 2.5 more yards than average. Flags were also 23% more likely to result in a first down in favor of the Chiefs. And this is coming off of the New York Post, who did their recap of it. And then as well as I give you that little bit of statistical analysis. Obviously, we're talking about the Chiefs. We're talking about probably one of the most cult-like fan bases ever, right? If you escape the Chiefs fandom, you've escaped a cult. You need to go to therapy to recover, okay? However, during our research, during our lovely prep time, I decided to go ahead and look at the study, and one of the first things was the r/Kansas City Chiefs Reddit. And Mr. Ancient Wise Man 88, I kid you not, that is this man's user on the r/Kansas City Chiefs server.
That's such a stupid username, man.
Right? The big headline is the UTEP study, air quotes around study, on the Chiefs and the refs is complete 100% disingenuous, dishonest bullshit. And he labels it discussion, like he actually wants to discuss it, but he doesn't. And then he shows a picture of like the front page of the study, but a box around the author of it, who is Ted Dishman. He's an independent researcher. A little box, and right outside it says a huge Steelers fan. And let me go ahead and read to you this man's. It's not long. Let me go ahead and read to you exactly this man's argument as to why it is BS. UTEP is a red herring. The independent researcher listed on the study, Ted Dishman, failed to announce his conflict of interest. Ted Dishman is a Steelers superfan. Here is his Reddit account proving it, and he provides a link to, I assume, what is his Reddit account. He posts his guitar playing YouTube videos. Scroll down in the Reddit feed for his user, and you'll see his name. Also in his Reddit history, tons of Steeler posts. He also has a Florida State connection to the UTEP professor, quote-unquote professor. I'm sorry, if New York Post and all these major outlets are picking it up, something tells me he's actually a professor.
Yes.
However, I digress. We're continuing on. This study was brought to you by 6 touchdown passes in Pittsburgh and hashtag better than a bye, aka the Chiefs stomping the Steelers in the playoffs in 2021. It's no wonder the years in the study include the period where the Steelers started doing nothing in the playoffs. And that is where it ends. The first comment under it, mind you, nah, mate, that's just poisoning the well. Go after his data and methodology, which is plenty flawed.
So the problem is, I'm a referee. I do referee during the summer for NFL Flag. And I'll tell you this. In this study, they didn't look at like total penalties and stuff. It was mainly on judgment calls like roughing the passer and pass interference. These are some of the toughest calls an official has to make. You do not have time to think about it during the game of, do I need to rig this here or not? Like, that's usually not something, like, if you're coming into a good game and you're straight up calling it the normal way, that shit never gets rigged. You call one, you're like, okay, I got to get one for the other team. You try to call an equal game. Being a referee is hard. You don't want to piss off the coaches on judgment calls. So the fact is, over all of that time, and also with the Chiefs' lack of, like, wide receivers that are actually elite over the last several years, there should not be a big skew in them getting pass interference calls in the playoffs. And then the roughing the passer, that's self-explanatory. It's Mahomes. It happens with Allen. It happens with Lamar. Elite quarterbacks get these BS calls where they barely get touched. But it's interesting, and I hate that Chiefs fans won't even attempt to, like, own up to it, because I would. If it was the Bills, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, if you said Josh Allen's getting unfair calls against him, yeah. Like, whenever he gets hit, they're calling roughing the passer a lot of times because he's an elite quarterback. It's annoying. I hate it, but that's just kind of how it is.
So, and one thing I want to kind of point out, there was a game, Chiefs, Travis Kelce caught it, but the ball touched the ground as well as his hands. That's a drop pass. That is a drop pass. The same thing happened not a day later on the Monday night game.
Yes, it did.
And they called it an incompletion. It was the exact same thing. And yet, for some reason, and it's funny because I see the memes of, normally this is an incompletion, but they forgot to but all you got to do for it to count is to tell the Chiefs you're a Kansas City receiver, and he'll count it as a reception. And that is true. That is true. If you look at the frames side by side, they are almost identical of the catch, how they touch the ground, the angles, everything. Kelce gets the catch. The other guy, I can't remember his name, but
I know who you're talking about. I forget who we targeted on that one. It was one of our
he got ruled incomplete.
Bummy receivers. Look, here's the last thing I guess I'll leave on it. The taunting BS. The Chiefs can taunt however they want, whenever they want. The JSN this week, he caught a ball, spun it, pointed at the defender. Nope, that was a penalty. That was taunting. Mahomes did the exact same thing on one of his touchdowns. No penalty. It's just how it's been for a very long time, and it's not like the league is every game trying to get the Chiefs to win, and if you lose, you can just blame the refs, because the Lions played like shit this week. I understand the Chiefs had no calls against them. They did not play a good football game. They did not play up to their standards. They deserved to lose that game, and Mahomes is playing really good football, but the league needs to stop doing this crap, because none of us want this. None of us want it. I will watch anybody. No. If you're a true football fan, I will watch any team play. I know they want the casual fans to come in and watch the Chiefs and watch Mahomes, but there are plenty of star players out there that if you just marketed them a bit more, we wouldn't have to do this. Weekly wrap-up, story number 2, Major League Baseball playoffs, and we got some lockout information looking ahead to 2027. And, Jet, you just want to start us off with how the series are going right now?
Yeah, I'll start us. You could go ahead and cover that lockout info. I'll get us started on the on this. So Game 4, Mariners versus Blue Jays. That's tonight. Right now, Seattle is winning 2-1. We're very excited about that. You know, I honestly was really hoping they'd get the clean sweep 4-0, eliminate the Blue Jays, have it done so that way they can actually get the dub at home in Seattle. But beggars can't be choosers sometimes. At least they are still ahead. And I'm sorry, the Mariners still look good. They still look like they're the favorite to win this one. But on the other side of the bracket, naturally, we got to go, to the dark side. Because that's where Darth Vader and the Empire and all that. And by that, I mean the Los Angeles Dodgers.
And the Milwaukee Brewers, because we're Cardinals fans and we don't like you either.
No, we don't like the Brewers, but I'm going to take the lesser of two evils
and
hope for the Brewers. Like, both of them are awful. One is less awful purely because it's not the Dodgers.
I'd root for the tie. If it was possible, I'd be rooting for the tie. But unfortunately, those do not exist.
Meteor.
Yeah, root for the Meteor.
Anyway, so Dodgers versus Brewers is also tonight. So you know what to do. Watch Thursday Night Football or Mariners versus Blue Jays. Don't tune into that garbage of a game. But it is tonight. And that's sitting at 2-0 in the Dodgers' favor. For the love of God. Watch anything else. Watch paint dry for all I care. Than the Dodgers Brewers. I'd say watch the Mariners Blue Jays because that's going to be more competitive and that's going to be more fun. Even Thursday Night Football, the Icy Hot Bowl, man, the Unk Bowl. Watch that.
The Unk Bowl. I like the Icy Hot Bowl. That is very nice. I have not heard that one yet. I will say, dude, if you're going to watch the Dodgers game tonight, don't watch it on cable because here's the thing. The league thinks that we all watch the Dodgers because of their star players and all their BS, which just hurt the ratings a bit if you can. You know where to go. You know how to watch it without getting it on the ratings. I don't have to tell you how. We all know what we're doing there. But I will say in that series, the most intriguing thing to me so far is the starting pitching of the Dodgers because their weakness is their bullpen. They know that their bullpen is buns. That is the one part of this team you can beat them in. But the Brewers have only had one inning in the entire series where they've had to face a bullpen arm because you had Blake Snell go 8 innings and Yamamoto go 9. Full complete game. You got to get to the bullpen. You got to put together some at-bats. Get their pitch counts up. Blake Snell is not a guy that I think of when I think of length. And Yamamoto, same thing where, I get they're really good and they have good strikeout stuff, but you got to foul off some pitches. Get into those at-bats a bit. Wear them down so that you have to go to the bullpen. They have 2 runs in 2 games. That is not going to cut it for the Brewers. And then for the Mariners tonight, going up against Max Scherzer. Scherzer's old. He's kind of ass. And on the other side, you have Castillo, who has historically struggled against the Blue Jays. Let me look at the numbers. 4.68 ERA with a 2-3 record. So both guys, Scherzer on paper this year, not great. Castillo historically against the Blue Jays, not amazing. But the last time he pitched against them in the playoffs, he gave us 7 1/3 innings of 0-run baseball. So hopefully the Mariners can get it done tonight. But here's the big story, the lockout, 2027. If the Dodgers make the World Series this year, it will be their 5th time in the World Series in the last 9 years.
So they're Houston Astros all over again.
Except The Astros only went 4 times over their stretch, and it wasn't as continued of dominance. The Astros had been historically bad. They didn't have to spend $1 bajillion to make it. Yes, they had high payrolls, but they also had talent that they grew from home and supplemented it with free agents. Where the Dodgers, they're just a free agent monster. We all hated the Astros. The Giants back in the day, when they were dominant, you got to think they went through that stretch. They went 3 times. The Cardinals were the last team to do anything similar through 2004 to 2004 to 2013. They went 4 times over 9 years, basically tying what the Dodgers did. And they did not do it with extra high payrolls. They had good rosters. Yes, they brought in free agents like any team does. But the league is upset because this is the first time since the Yankees we've seen anything like this, where a team is just outspending everybody. They make it to the postseason every year. They're going to the World Series, unlimited success. They get every free agent, and the rest of the league, especially the Brewers, who have half the payroll of the Dodgers, are sitting here. Damn.
Or even,
how do we beat that?
I hate to suggest this, the Colorado Rockies even.
Well, okay, but they're not even trying. I'm not even going to give them credit.
No, they're not trying.
I'm going to say like an organization like the Brewers that doesn't have a whole lot of money to spend but finds success. They look at this and say, what the hell do we do? Like, we don't have the money to spend. We can't keep up with them. And a lot of writers across baseball are saying, if the Dodgers make it to the World Series or win this year, we already are probably going to see a lockout in 2027. This would just confirm it. Back-to-back World Series championships, getting every single Japanese free agent, unlimited money to throw around, dominating a division that actually has some pretty good teams in it. Like the Padres are always good, the Diamondbacks are always good, but they don't feel like they have a shot to win. I think they would sign in on a lockout, all their players. Any team in the NL that gets bitched every year that can't get the 1 seed, they'd be like, all right, I'm on. You got to think probably the Pirates, the Rockies, the Marlins would be like, no, please no lockout. We don't want to change the salary cap rules because we don't want to spend money. But any team that wants to be competitive would be on board. So, and probably going to see that.
I'll say this in the favor of the Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani was probably always going to go to the Dodgers, right?
Yes.
Like, his whole big brand is that he is homegrown from Japan and that he loves to be there and he wants to stay to where the time zone isn't so awful. So Shohei to, like, the East Coast or even the Midwest probably would never have been a reality. He was going to stay on the West Coast. However, there are plenty of teams on the West Coast, cough, cough, Seattle Mariners, that could have used Shohei just as well.
We were never going to spend that much money, but I like the idea.
Exactly. The Dodgers took him because they're like, hey, money, 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 money,
Dude,
money. I've never seen Mr. Krabs personified more than the Dodgers, money, 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 throwing at him. It's like, what is going on?
And in the chat, Caleb makes a good point. The salary cap talks are what's going to really cause the lockout because the players don't want the cap. And that's the problem, right? Because the players want money, and the rest of the owners are like, we can't win if we keep paying people like this. Also, the Dodgers are just going to get every free agent anyways. So that's what's going to cause it. The players are going to probably be fine. I'm not going to lie. If I'm a player, I'd be like, yeah, as long as you don't like cut our salary, just add a cap to like hurt them, and we're probably good. And add a floor. The floor, too. If the owners implement a floor and say, hey, we're willing to add a floor, every single rookie or anybody on that board is going to be like, hey, they have to pay us more money to get over the floor. Hang on, that could be a payday for us. Any like journeyman or not great player, I think that's the way in which the players end up agreeing to a salary cap. But I digress. Our third story, this one's going to be a faster one. It's called Cutting Out the Cancer. James Franklin, he's out of Penn State. Brian Callahan, thank God, Tennessee finally moved on. Both of these gentlemen, I'm going to call them gentlemen in quotes because they've made so many people angry over the last few years that I don't know if you can give them the gentleman tag. They're out of here. James Franklin went 4-20 in his career against top teams, lost to Ohio State basically every year. As soon as Oregon got added to the Big Ten, that was another loss on his schedule. And then Brian Callahan, 4-19 in his career as a head coach with the Titans. Good riddance. Get out of here.
Bye. Dude, you have the number 1 overall draft pick. You have arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now in Cam Ward. Cam Ward can be one of those elite quarterbacks, but my God, you make him look like garbage. Like, you make him look so bad. And it really doesn't help when the number 1 overall pick is not getting any, he's not getting any publicity or anything because his team's so bad. So it goes to a third string on a team that's worse, but name value. He's first overall. You should have at least helped build around him and build your team. But no, you decided you were content with a 1-5 start, and that one game that you won, you should not have won. You should have been tied with the Jets right now. Being completely honest. And no, Brian Callahan, hasta la bye-bye. Tennessee's better without you. Should have never let go of Mike Vrabel. That's on Tennessee, not him. But
and guess who they play this week? Guess who they play this week? Vrabel.
They do that.
This is going to be a bloodbath. The Patriots by 1 billion.
One last thing, though, with the James Franklin thing. So James Franklin is actually set to get a $50 million buyout. Pretty respectable buyout, right? Especially for a college coach, nonetheless. However, that buyout has a stipulation. He has to seek a new job. He has to seek a new job because they don't have to. However, Penn State could avoid paying that buyout completely. They could avoid it because if he were to get a job where the sum of that salary of the new job is equivalent to the buyout, $50 million, which college coaches are going to make that much roughly if you go to one of those elite programs, the Lions wouldn't have to pay him anything. And actually, if they already started payments, because they did let him go about a week ago, if they had already started paying him, he might have to pay them back that money if they already paid him. So maybe find a job quick, or maybe just go work at McDonald's and collect that $50 million. Sit back, flip burgers for a few years.
You see how their talent evaluation went. They decided to stay with Drew Aller, and now Pribula's over in Mizzou. And then you also have a lot of you had other QB prospects that were sitting behind Aller, and you just kept saying, "No, we're going to keep going with Aller." Terrible play calling from Franklin. Couldn't get it done in the big game. Get the hell out of here. That is all for this week's weekly wrap-up. And now we're going to move into our special segment, which is One Sentence Pick'ems. And the way that this segment works is we're going to go through every game this week, and we're going to alternate, going back and forth, and give you one sentence on who we think is going to win and why. So I will get us started here as we move into... Oh, okay, there's our cameras. OBS, stop being weird. Yeah, OBS is being very weird with me today. It's also not showing the right thing on the screen, so let me get that pulled up. But our first game is going to be the Steelers and the Bengals this week. I know you're excited about that one, or maybe you're actually not excited about that one. I don't know. You guys are kind of ass, respectfully.
It's a little iffy right now. I'm not sure whether to go up or down or in between. I technically got to go to bed early, but I'll stay up to watch this game, I guarantee you.
All right, well, I got you with my sentence here. Flacco will have no time to throw, and the Steelers don't give up yak. Give me the Steelers tonight on Thursday Night Football.
Steelers.
Yeah.
I'm a Bengals fan. I want them to win. I wish they would win. But the Steelers have been dominant, and I don't think this is the start of their fall for a 10-7.
Yeah,
there we go.
That's valid. The big thing with Flacco for me is when he has completed passes, they are checkdowns. He's a big checkdown guy. He has been for his entire career. So he's reliant on his guys getting him that extra yak. The Steelers don't. I mean, surprisingly this year, I thought their secondary would be bad. Their tackling would be shit. They have done a really good job of not letting guys go for extra yardage, so... I think that's the Bengals' key to victory just being taken away. But you never know. Thursday Night Football is always really, really weird. Our next game, we got the Rams and the Jags. Jet, what do you got?
Give me the Rams. Stafford, Puka's out, but Stafford to Devontae Adams is just as dangerous, and so is Kyron Williams. Give me the Rams.
All righty. I like that one. I am also going to go with the Rams. I am concerned by their slow starts over the last few weeks where they come out and don't play so great in the first half. And their red zone efficiency has not been where it probably needs to be. But they generate a lot of pressure, and they don't need to blitz to do it, which is going to make Trevor Lawrence have a really difficult day because he's going to have rushers in his face, but there's going to be extra guys sitting back there in the secondary waiting for him to throw the football. And he has been so inconsistent this year, so I will also go with the Rams. Next one, we got the Saints, we got the Bears. This one's simple. I think we're both going with the Bears. The Saints don't have the talent to win football games. I know that's a blanket, like, really weird, not weird, but like a mean statement to say that, man, they don't have the talent. That's like really harsh. Look at their roster. There's not a lot there. There's pieces. Rattler's been playing better. You got some receivers. You're an okay football team, and they've played way above their head. I mean, I understand they're 1-5, but they've played a lot of close football games. They kept the Bills in check for a while. Last week, they played pretty solid. But the Bears are actually putting things together over there a little bit. They look semi-competent, which is rare for Chicago. So give me the Bears.
The Bears built around Caleb Williams. They literally spent their entire offseason building around their quarterback, whereas the Saints are basically just content with tanking. So the Bears got the new head coach. The Bears got the new all this and all that. They're 3-2, but they're starting to pick up steam. Saints are already in the ground dead for the season. So, yeah, that Bears.
I'm kind of surprised, too, with the Saints, considering that Brandon Staley is their DC and he's just useless. I put him in the same group as Brian Callahan or James Franklin, the people that were just fired.
He's not in Los Angeles anymore.
But he was bad to start the year. The Saints defense looked like crap. They're starting to figure some things out. So maybe he'll be a good coordinator. Maybe. This game is one of the most split ones of the week. I know we got a Dolphins fan in the chat. It's the Miami Dolphins and the Cleveland Browns. Jet, I believe I went first on the last one, right?
Yeah.
This one's you.
Hold on. Caleb's the one.
Yeah, Caleb's our Dolphins fan, a resident Dolphins fan.
Right. All right. Come here, Caleb. Sit down with me. I'm taking the Browns, unironically taking the Browns, and I hope you're happy with my pick. Rather watch the Brew Crew over the Bengals. I saw your comment. Rude.
He's a big baseball guy. He loves baseball. He also loves football,
fair,
but shit football?
Brewers? Man, that's disrespectful. Anyway,
it's the Unk Bowl. Who wants to watch the Unk Bowl tonight? I'll have it on, but I don't really care.
No, Dylan Gabriel, Jerry Jeudy, I think they're starting to kind of get the building of something, but they're playing hard teams, so they can't get anything going. Miami is such a gimme team for the rest of the season. They really are. Tua had way too much drama this week, putting the blame on other guys for not showing up to player-only meetings, doing it in public press conferences nonetheless. So, I mean, yeah, no, give me the Browns. At least the Browns aren't in the media right now. Well, one Brown is, but that's irrelevant. Not your franchise quarterback going out there and saying that, oh, this team just doesn't care anymore.
Yeah, I am 50-50. In my family pick'em league, I am down by a bunch of games, so I went with the Browns in that one. But in our pick'em league, I'm not trying to pick upsets here. I understand the Browns are favored, technically, by Vegas and everything. I'm going with the Dolphins despite all of the BS. Yeah, your coach sucks. Yeah, Tua keeps throwing picks. Everything about your team screams ass. But the Browns this season have not even scored above 20 points one time. They're going to this week because the Dolphins' defense is so bad, but they have nothing on offense. Last week, everyone was dropping passes. Dylan Gabriel cannot throw down the field. He might be able to this week because the Dolphins' secondary is injured and also just ass when they're healthy. And I also have Judkins going for 1 billion rushing yards. But if the Dolphins can almost beat the battered Chargers, I think the Dolphins can take care of the Browns, even though it's in Cleveland. My big concern, and wait a minute, hang on. I just thought of something. This game is going to have 50-mile-an-hour wind, is it not? I just thought of that. The National Weather Service was issuing a wind warning.
I think so.
So everything I just said is bullshit. Give me the Browns. Because, yeah, no. I was 50-mile-an-hour winds. Hang on. The Dolphins can't throw in that. Yeah, because Cleveland.
Any sort of inclement weather, the Dolphins don't do well.
Yeah, I that just came to mind. I'm like, wait, hang on, I forgot about the weather in this one because you don't think to look at the weather for the game. I saw it on Twitter earlier.
Oh no,
the Browns can run between the tackles because they have an okay O-line and a good running back. Etienne's okay through the tackles, but their O-line is struggling, and he's better getting to the outside. So it's gonna have to be short passes. Waddle's not gonna do shit. None of the receivers are gonna be able to catch a football because the ball's gonna be blowing all over the place. Give me the Browns. Ugh, that hurts. I wanted to take them so badly. I wanted to take the Dolphins and get an upset pick on you, but unfortunately, that was not going to happen. And then we got this game. Yeah, so Vrabel is still probably really upset. And the Patriots look good. Mm-hmm. And the Titans, they're certainly a football team. But they're not good at anything.
They are part of the NFL.
You know, they are. They should probably be relegated to Division II college football because this is
screw it. Have the Battlehawks go up to the NFL and have the Tennessee Titans go to the UFL.
I think this would be a good move, but give me the Patriots here, 1,000,000%.
I got the Pats through and through. I'm sorry. Top of the AFC East, you just beat the Bills 2 weeks ago. I know I keep bringing it up, but it's true. You beat one of the best teams in NFL, and that's kind of your statement piece. I mean, right now they're sitting at the tied record with the Bills. They're 4-2, and Bills are going into a bye week, so they're just going to further cement themselves on top of the AFC East. Yeah, give me the Pats.
Let's go Titans, man. Come on, pull off an upset for me.
Oh man!
Like
All right,
I'm a recent Bills fan, and I think we were gonna do a YouTube short about how we became fans after this week.
Yeah.
Like the fact is, I haven't been here long enough to have to go through the whole Patriots completely dominating the Bills and them being our dad. I've been here for the latter half where we've owned them, and I've heard the horror stories from the rest of the fan base. We're not going back. Please, for the love of God, no. Do not let the Patriots win the division. I would rather the Dolphins, the Jets, either one of them can have it. Not the Pats. Absolutely not. Next game, Raiders, Chiefs. This one's fairly obvious, but I'll let you get your sentence in here.
Dude, Look, the last time I ever went to a Chiefs game, and this was when I was a Chiefs fan, was Raiders Chiefs 2020. I think it was 2023 Christmas, or it was 22 into 23 Christmas. God, no, 23 into 24. I'm sorry. Never mind. Dates are unimportant. It was a Christmas game. It was Raiders Chiefs, and it was awful because the Raiders ended up winning with Aiden O'Connell as their primary. I saw Jimmy Garoppolo on the sideline. That hurt worse. But ever since then, the Chiefs have just been bullying the Raiders, and for good reason because the Raiders do indeed suck. Yeah, give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, Mahomes actually looks good again. He's actually putting up decent numbers. I still have Baker Mayfield as my MVP right now, but if he has a few bad weeks, all of a sudden Mahomes might be top. Also, Prescott should also be in consideration this year. Let's be real. They don't have much of a run game. He had his number one receiver go down, and he's still putting up crazy numbers every week. His team is just bad. The Cowboys' defense is really trash. I was looking at it earlier, and I know we'll get to them, but I was looking at pressure rates on Football Reference. They have one of the highest pressure rates in the league, and they also only have 11 sacks because they can't get the job done. That's the Cowboys this year. Anyways, Eagles, Vikings. This one is very interesting to a lot of people, but I'm just going to shut that down straight up and come out and say a team of the Eagles' caliber, even if they're playing bad football, is not going to lose 3 games in a row. It's not happening. They're going to win this football game. Give me the Eagles. And I'll be real with you, it feels weird. They even have to consider this, considering what the Eagles are as a team. But if the Eagles keep it on the ground, like they run the football, which I know they haven't been doing this year, but if they give Saquon the ball, they're going to win the game. They will. You're taking the Vikings. I can see it.
Yep. Give me the Vikings. Look, from what I've heard, J.J. McCarthy is returning to come back. All you got to do is get it in the hand of Jay Jettas, and I'm sorry. This Eagles team, they cannot seem to figure it out. They are in a rut right now of their own making. They're in a rut of their own headspace, kind of like the Dolphins, where, Saquon's not getting the yardage. A.J. Brown's disgruntled. Devontae Smith is disgruntled because they can't complete passes. And then you have Jalen Hurts at a press conference trying to be Confucius and trying to speak philosophical points to the media. It's like, dude, you are a quarterback who really, you get your ass pushed into an end zone about 3 times. 4 tush pushes in one game. You should be ashamed to call yourself a quarterback.
On the same drive, back to back to back. Like that, that's
back to
awful,
back to
man.
back. No, so... Yeah, no, give me the Vikings. This is, don't get me wrong, I get that I'm picking the underdog, and it's very likely the Eagles will win. However, I have faith that the Vikings will make them lose 3 in a row and make them genuinely reevaluate and possibly even get rid of Nick Sirianni, because God, I'm with Philly on this one. Get rid of that moron.
I would say if it was any other mid-tier team, so think of the Seahawks, the Rams, the Broncos. Well, the Broncos already beat them. Or even the Buccaneers that they did beat earlier. I would take them. It's just I don't trust McCarthy because he didn't look good when he did play. And then Carson Wentz isn't anything special. He was a placeholder who had good receivers to throw to. I need to see a little bit more before I pick you over the Eagles, even if they're playing like Dookie. The Carolina Panthers and the New York Jets. Jet, what are you thinking?
Give me the Jets. Jets picking the Jets. I'm being so real right now.
No, you're not.
Give me the Jets.
Oh my God! Why?
Give me the Jets.
This is so dumb.
No, give me the Jets. Look, Carolina has been picking up their pace, and that's really nice. However, last game, it was foreign. It was neutral territory, and yet somehow I remember because we came over to watch the game. They went toe-to-toe with the Broncos, who's supposed to be a playoff favorite, not a Super Bowl favorite, but a playoff favorite going into the season. And they went toe-to-toe, and the Broncos almost lost it to the Jets. I think they're starting to get their groove. I think they're starting to get the hang of things a little bit more, and I think that it's going to be a closer game against the Carolina Panthers than it was last week. I still think the Jets are going to be able to pull this one out.
So, unfortunately for your Jets, the forward pass was invented all the way back in the early 1900s, and they haven't utilized it this year.
I understand that.
Everybody that was in this chat right now had more passing yards last week than the New York Jets did because they had negative.
I know.
The Panthers have been one of the hardest teams to pick in football this year. We can't decide if they're good, if they're bad. I have a formula now to pick them for the rest of the year, and I would love to have my stats on the end of the year now because I think I can get the Panthers the rest of the way unless they pull off some stupid upset somewhere. I know how they tick. I know how Bryce Young ticks. I'm not going to reveal it yet until maybe they lose at some point because then that would prove my formula doesn't work. Give me the Panthers here because I think I finally figured out this football team.
You know what? Fair enough. I will accept that.
Also, Aaron Glenn is like a hack. Like, he's not a good head coach. Last week, berating the media for asking about, are you going to move on from Justin Fields? Dude, he had negative passing yards, and you're defending him like he's your franchise QB. We like Fields here. We're cool with Fields. We kind of like him.
Fields.
But the one time this year where he didn't play, you had like your best offensive performance of the year with Tyrod Taylor. Like, I understand you're going to play him because if he ends up being bad, you tank, you get rid of him, you bring someone else into the organization, and Tyrod Taylor could win you some football games, so you don't want that. But at least say that. Don't tell the media that he's our guy. Just be honest with them. Be like, hey, I give him a chance to develop. Give some coach speak. Don't be a butthead. And I didn't mention that when I talked about the Bills earlier. You know how we have no receivers right now in Buffalo and like everyone sucks? Yeah, before the year, our GM was on a radio show and they asked him like, why aren't you like addressing the wide receiver room? Like, why aren't you doing it? I mean, like, we just don't have any talent there. He's like, he actually like berated them, called them stupid on the radio. Said that it's perfectly fine. And I believe this was actually last season when this happened, so it looked fine. But it's a problem. It's been a problem. And for like, imagine if a GM, like we had the head of a local college on the show and he called us stupid for calling us out. For one, that's unprofessional. And two, they were valid in asking that. Anyways, the next game of the year, another organization that has had some issues with their GMs over the years, it's the Giants, but they start to look good now. They're winning games. They beat the Eagles. Oh, my God. But I trust Denver's defense to steal them this football game. I mean, their offense did nothing last week. Their offense was putrid last week, and they won the football game again. And Jackson Dart, he's a rookie quarterback. And the Broncos have one of the best secondaries in football, one of the best overall defenses in football. They don't really have any receivers that I go, wow. I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson's okay. Give me the Broncos. I don't think the Giants are going to put up a lot of points here.
Give me the Giants.
That's fair.
Yeah. No, while the secondary and all that is great, and like for the Broncos, the pass rushing is just not. I don't think the pass rushing is all that there for the Broncos. Because some teams have it's been okay. It's not been great. The secondary is where they really thrive. They stop you from getting down the field. However, Cam Scatterboo, people seem to forget that they literally have a billy goat in the backfield ready to burrow through them. Like, it's wild that Cam Scatterboo could get the yardage that he gets with how small and how, like, bullheaded he is. Jackson Dart is also just, they've never, like, not since Eli Manning or any like that far back have they had a quarterback with that accuracy. They have not had a quarterback that has been able to make those plays, which I say that, and you look at their previous quarterback, Daniel Jones, like tearing it up with the Colts. I think that was just a scheme fit issue. I don't think that was necessarily a Daniel Jones issue, but remains to be seen. He wasn't accurate with the Giants. He's accurate with the Colts, though. So respect where respect is given. Jackson Dart is just there, and he's performing well, especially for a rookie. And I'm sorry, they're 2-4 right now. 3 of those losses, though, are Russell Wilson losses. They're not Jackson Dart losses. They're not Cam Scatterbu losses. They are Russell Wilson losses. So part of me is kind of hopeful that they bring in this new rookie QB who's 2-1. Like, he lost that game. He did lose one game, but then he came back and beat the Eagles, of all teams. You beat the Chargers, and then you beat the Eagles. And I think you lose essentially what was considered a gimme game in the middle. So it's that weird flow.
Yeah.
I genuinely have the Giants taking this one.
All right, well, that'll be a fun one to watch. Definitely very intriguing matchup. I hate how it's the late window. I can never watch the late window. I'm always doing something.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got the Colts and we got the Chargers. Now, I'm going to be real. I needed an upset this week. I ain't going to lie to you. The Colts defense has struggled to hurry the QBs this year. Like, their pressure is okay, but it doesn't necessarily affect the quarterbacks. Like, you look at their QB hurry stats, not quite there. And that's where Herbert struggled a lot this year, is whenever he's been rushed because his O-line is just decimated at this point. He hasn't been great. But with the Colts right now, if they're not going to put pressure on him, I think he can do a really good job in this one of getting it to Allen, to McConkey, and then Johnston. If they can just do that and keep him from getting on his butt a million times a game, I'm going to take the Chargers here.
And that's perfect because I'm taking the Colts. I am taking the Colts. I think Daniel Jones with Michael Pittman, they're really starting to build a relationship there, especially with Jonathan Taylor. My Lord, if it's not Baker Mayfield, give Jonathan Taylor some Offensive Player of the Year or something.
Yeah.
He's been absolutely amazing. So I think this Colts offense is good enough to offset the weaknesses of the defense. However, DeForest Buckner up there on that, God, he is a beast. He is scary. I don't know if you saw the hit that he had last week, but it looked like he just about broke a person.
I need to watch that back. I'll find it later.
Oh, it was rough. So, no, I think the Colts get this one done. I think they improve to 6-1, and I think the Chargers go to 4-3, which now, especially since we have the Chiefs going 4-3, I think it's going to be another battle for the AFC West going forward.
Yeah, I'm just concerned with the Colts defense because every time they've played a decent quarterback this year, even Jacoby Brissett last week, who is not a decent quarterback, he can be in a pinch, but that's his ceiling. He's given up a lot of points. Yeah, they give up a lot of points to guys that I'm like, they're a good quarterback, but they're nothing crazy. Their biggest wins were against the Dolphins to start the year, which we don't know what the hell the Dolphins are other than bad, but offensively, week to week, very confusing team. And then their one loss was to the Broncos, who their offense isn't all that inspiring, and yet Bo Nix had a really good game. So we'll see. This is going to be another fun one. It's 55% versus 45%. It's kind of split down the middle. What is your pick on the Commanders versus the Cowboys?
Commanders. I have faith in the Commanders. I think last week against the Browns, it was a very lucky last-minute field goal that, really kind of cemented the Bears as a rebuilt team or a renewal team. I think as long as there's no rain and the Commanders can hold on to the ball, they'll be fine.
Asking a lot.
So.
Well, I agree with you. I'm going with the Commanders. They're one of the best running teams in the NFL, which is really funny if you have their running backs in fantasy because you wouldn't think it. You'd be like, damn, they're not giving me a lot of yards and a lot of points. But with Jaden Daniels' legs and the running back room they have and their ability to scheme up the run, they've been really good. And you know who's the worst team in the league against the run? The Dallas Cowboys. They are atrocious. They cannot stop anybody. I'd be willing to line up in the backfield against them because I might get 2 yards.
Might get a couple extra yards.
Maybe 2. Because I'm not an athlete. And also I'd be injured on the first play. But
2 is all that matters.
I'll take 2 yards. I did something to help beat the Cowboys. That is always good. So Commanders, we're going there. I refuse to pick the Cardinals until they win a game convincingly. I'm not picking them no matter what. I don't care who's under center. I said it last week. They could dig up, Dan Marino from early in his career because he's not dead as far as I know, right? Dan Marino's still alive? Yeah.
Yeah,
He's still alive. But, like, take his old self, put him on this team. The coaching would find a way to blow it. The defense would screw it up. Give me the Packers. I understand they haven't been the best team as of late, but they're a playoff team. They should win this one. You got a funny smile on your face. Are you going the Cardinals here?
No, I'm going Packers.
Okay,
No,
good.
I throw some picks out there as like curveball. What's funny is I feel less confident. I would feel less confident picking the Cardinals to beat the Packers than the Jets beating the Carolina Panthers. I think that game's a lot closer. This game is going to be
crazy.
such a one-sided event. This game is such a one-sided event. The Cardinals, Jacoby Brissett, you don't have your starting quarterback. You don't really have your starting running back. And I also think Trey McBride's like hurt. So yeah, no, if you pick the Cardinals to win this week, you have to be a Cardinals fan because nobody in their right mind would pick.
Even if you're a Cardinals fan, why would you take them? Also,
Right?
Kyler Murray might be back this week. There's a question of whether or not he'll play. Either way, does not matter. I'd go Packers no matter who. Like I said, no matter who's under center, their organization will find a way to screw it up.
Yeah.
Another fun one here. You got the Falcons, you got the Niners, and I'm interested to hear what you got because this is a fun one.
I'll start with this one purely because I do have the Niners. Look, kind of like how you have an American League and a National League team in baseball. If I were to have an AFC and an NFC team, AFC Bengals. My NFC team would either be the Niners or the Detroit Lions. I don't know what it is about them. I like those teams. I think I like the moxie that Dan Campbell brings with them, but the Niners just have that legacy, and I love that. However, Brock Purdy's still out. Ricky Pearsall's still out. They still don't have Brandon Ayuk. I understand all that. Mac Jones is playing like the second coming of Brady that they thought he was going to be on the Patriots. He is phenomenal under Kyle Shanahan, and they're getting George Kittle back. So while they might not have Ricky Pearsall going into this week, and while Mac Jones might be a little bit more injured, George Kittle is coming back, and I think he's going to be able to take full advantage of his return, of his newfound health, and going into that. Give me the Niners.
I'm just trying to pull off some upsets right now, and honestly, this one isn't necessarily an upset for me. I want the Falcons right now. After seeing what they did last week to my team, Bijan's a beast. Drake London looks great. Penix is starting to make better decisions. Yeah, their second half last week was not good. Didn't have to be, because their defense stood up against the Buffalo Bills and shut us down for the entirety of the game. I still think that's our OC's fault, but from the outside looking in, they're getting better week to week. I understand that Panthers game earlier in the year was like, what the fuck, 30-0? Like, awful. But right now, the Niners, they're injured. Their defense is very injured at that, and they've only beat mid-teams by a tiny bit. The Falcons are at the top of that mid-team list right now for me. I think they can get it done, but I am concerned with Shanahan because he is such a good head coach that he could find a way to screw up Penix because he's just that guy. He's a great schemer. They might find something during the week on Penix and be able to exploit it. And if that's the case, the Niners will win. But right now, I like the Falcons.
And, that's fair. The Falcons looked great last week. They're finally starting to build that offense that they've been talking about. And I don't think that's an off-the-wall pick. I think that's a good pick.
Can we get a new logo for the Falcons, by the way? All of their old retro stuff looks so much better. Like, this logo was so tough in the 2010s. But, man, it's the 2020s. We need something a little different here, Falcons. I need a small rebrand. I would love it. It cost them so much money to do it for, like, almost nothing. Same with the Buccaneers. Their retro logo looks so good. So good. Like, those creamsicle uniforms blow these out of the water. I want to see that orange every single week. You got to go back to it. I understand you won a ring with this. You won 2 rings, actually, back in the early 2000s. Let's move on to the future, because you got your future quarterback in Baker Mayfield. I like him a lot, but the only way they're beating the Lions this week is if they outscore them, and you're not outscoring the Detroit Lions in this football game. The Buccaneers are way too injured right now. Way too injured to keep up.
I understand that they are way too injured, but I'm gonna go Bucks on this one. Baker Mayfield is playing out of his mind, and he's playing with 4th, 5th stringers at receiver and all that. He's playing with a 2nd or 3rd string running back. However, there is a possibility that Mike Evans could even come back this week. If there is even the slight possibility that Mike Evans is back this week, that is enough of an offensive weapon for Baker to have something more consistent to go to. Don't get me wrong, Emeka Egbuka is doing like crazy, but having one of the most reliable receivers in the entirety of the NFL, constant 1,000-yard seasons because he's just that guy. I have the Bucs winning this one. I think they'll pull off an upset again against Detroit, which I hate going against Detroit. Detroit's a great team. I think they have very high possibility going to the end of the season. I just think Tampa Bay is the better team right now. Overall, I think Tampa Bay is the better team.
I would say, after what you said, I don't know if you even agree with that. Baker Mayfield is the better player. He is the best player. But the Lions are a better all-around team. And with the O-line situation for the Bucs, I understand Baker's really hard to sack, but Hutchinson's going to probably have himself a day. Another fun one, though. I'm really happy. What is this, Sunday night? Monday night. Oh, we're doing the 2 Monday night again this week. Come on, man. This could have just been a solo game because the one after this, throw this one in the late window. I don't want to watch the Texans and Seahawks. I understand it's like kind of intriguing, but...
Ew! Oh, God!
What?
9 p.m. Did you see that time?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's because for Western time. It's because for all the Seattle fans.
Oh, that's awful.
That's bad. When does the first one start? Starting at
like 6 p.m. That's like...
They're trying to fix it now so that they're not playing at the same time. But either way, the second game, I'm looking at it and saying, Houston has not beaten a good team the entire season.
No.
They also haven't allowed more than 20 points to any team this season. And they have a losing record. That speaks volumes about their offense and their struggles. And while the last 2 weeks, yes, they played good football. You beat a Lamarless Ravens team, and you beat the Titans. Do you want a medal? Do you want a banner? Because you're not getting it. You're not getting anything from me until you can beat a real team. The Seahawks, yeah, they have flaws. Yeah, they're probably a wild card team. I don't think they can win their division. I'm not going to lie. They could if the Rams and 49ers keep cannibalizing themselves. But I got to take the Seahawks here.
I'm taking the Seahawks for the same thing. JSN looks like he's finally in sync with Sam Darnold. They're able to run it. I know the run game wasn't really there last game, but that duo of Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, they're dangerous. They really are dangerous. It's arguably one of the best backfields out there because when Kenneth Walker was out last season, Zach Charbonnet stepped in and they kept them both. I have high hopes for Seattle. I do think they are only a wild card, maybe a divisional round. I don't think they're like NFC championship bound, but not over the Texans. Yeah. The Texans. It's really hard to get over what you said earlier this season about him being Derek Carr 2.0. It's really hard to get over you saying that because he's really just proved your point week after week after week of watching CJ Stroud just.
Yeah,
my God.
And he looked fine, but like the Titans defense is bad. The Ravens defense is really bad, surprisingly, this year. But that is all for the special segment of the week where we do our one-sentence pick'ems. We're going to move on to a quick what's more likely because I was stumped this week. I could not come up with a good question to save my life. So, Jet, you have the one and only question for this week.
So, little fact to preface this, we're betting men. We have the Battle of the Bets coming up later in the show, and we do it every week. It is like our special segment here on the show. Now, with that, the betting odds for MVP odds came out this week, and all because Patty Mahomes finally looked like he's back to form. He is now at the top to win the NFL MVP.
Ew.
Yes, that includes over Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield, who is 5-1 with 4th and 5th string receivers. So, my what's more likely is Patrick Mahomes going to get, another MVP handed to him after what is arguably his worst season to date? Because, he's had some bad seasons, but starting this terrible, this is like an oddity for him. So is he going to get handed another MVP, or are we going to see the return of Baker Mayfield after, getting traded to the Panthers from the Browns, getting dropped, going to Los Angeles and having that one like astronomical game, and then rebuilding his entire career with the Bucks to prove that he's a good quarterback. Like, do you think that he is going to get that like MVP and prove that like his story is a lot more than just being a washed Browns quarterback?
Well, I put it in the chat so you guys can vote as well. Look, here's the thing. We talked about it earlier. The league really does love a little bit of Mahomes. They do love their Chiefs, but voter fatigue is a hell of a drug. And over the last few years, it's been the same cats. You had Mahomes, Lamar would win, and then Allen finally won one. Eventually, they got to give it to a new guy, and Baker Mayfield has done way more for his team than Mahomes has done this year. Like, Mahomes has put up really good stats. Stats don't win you MVP unless you break some type of record. You got to look like, I wish we had WAR for football. It'd be so hard to do. But as far as WAR for his team, Baker Mayfield has contributed like everything to his team. Without Baker Mayfield, they are not a good football team this year. With any other quarterback in the league, you put Josh Allen on that team, put Mahomes on that team. They're not doing what the Bucs are doing. Baker's just him. He has a different mindset. He's so physical, you can't tackle him. He's had nobody to throw to over the last few weeks. His O-line has gone to shit. His defense is not doing him any favors, and they're winning football games. So give me Baker Mayfield. Like, Mahomes has played really good, and he deserves a lot of praise for what he's done, especially with how bad the team has been without having Xavier Worthy for a while, without Rashee Rice, which I wish Rashee Rice would go away forever, but unfortunately he's coming back this week.
Which, by the way, my last little Chiefs rant, I do agree with you. Baker Mayfield definitely deserves it more, and he's proven that he is the MVP because, again, the depth that he's worked with throughout the entirety of the roster and still been able to give him a 5-1 record, that shows that he is truly the most valuable player on that team, not just Mahomes. However, you brought up Rashee Rice. Rashee, what the hell are you doing dropping a hype video for coming back?
I was hoping
you were suspended because you almost killed somebody. You are not allowed to drop a hype video because you're a moron that can't follow road rules. Oh my God, that irked me so bad. I saw a hype video. Yeah, I'm coming back. 1 + 4 = 5. We got this. Bro, you almost killed someone. You shouldn't even touch the field this year, and yet you're, oh yeah, the comeback. Brother, get the fuck off the field. Go away. Please, bye. Go away. Oh my God.
I'm getting a timestamp for this. We're clipping this, and this is going
Go
on
for
YouTube. That's too good.
Dude.
I was going to do the exact same thing if you weren't going to do it, because I saw that hype video, and I'm like, dude, you're a convicted felon.
You're a clown. An absolute clown. You are a convicted felon, and like,
Yeah. All right. Well, the chat agrees. They're going with Baker Mayfield as well. That is all for What's More Likely as we move into the trenches, where we give you guys our hot takes of the week. And this week, I guess I'll start us off because you asked the What's More Likely question, and I actually prepared for this one. I know I actually got something done. It's shocking. Everyone, hey, he did his job. So here's my hot take, and I feel like every hockey fan agrees with me, and every NHL executive disagrees with me. The NHL should not expand any further unless they're moving into Canada, because the whole thing with the NHL is, hey guys, look, we make all of our money off of tickets. They make, of all the professional sports leagues, they make the highest percentage of their revenue off of ticket sales, because in the media, they're not very popular. And they're like, well, if we expand and we get more people in the stands, more money, more moolah. What you're going to do is you are going to completely wreck the quality of play, because right now they're thinking about moving into Houston, Atlanta, and going back to Phoenix, because Arizona never should have lost their team. It's just bad ownership.
No.
Like, they were just an awful team for all those years. Their owner didn't pay rent. He was a scumbag. But we're going down south, where hockey's not big. If you go to Houston, everyone there's already a Stars fan. You've tried Atlanta twice. They've had 2 teams in their history. Neither one worked out. And everyone that's in Atlanta is either a Hurricanes fan, a Predators fan, or one of the Florida teams. So if you do like hockey, you have people to root for. You have a lot of teams around you already. That's going to be really weird. And then looking back at Phoenix, yeah, they deserve a team back. They're probably the only market in the U.S. that deserves to have a team again because they got theirs stolen because of bad ownership. What I would do, instead of expanding and taking all these players and spreading them out across these rosters, making sure that some teams have no star players. Mind you, a third of the league has never won a Stanley Cup. A third of the teams that are currently in the league have not won the championship, and yet you want to add 3 or 4 more? No. Instead of doing that, let's relocate a team. And I'm going to get some flack for this one from my Buffalo brothers and some people from Columbus. Guys, unfortunately, if the league is going to try to be better moving forward, we need to either relocate the Sabres or the Blue Jackets and move them to Quebec. Because...
No!
And I hate to say it because Buffalo fans have done nothing wrong. But we are a small market. Free agents don't want to come here. We don't show up to the games because ownership is awful. If they could force ownership to sell and move them to Quebec, it'd be better for the league. I don't want it to happen, and it's not going to happen, so thank God. But if I'm an executive in the NHL, I would consider it to make money. And Columbus as well. Columbus has never been good. No free agents want to go there. It's a small market. It's not a big hockey area. Quebec deserves a team again. They supported the hell out of the Nordiques. It sucks. I hate saying that because I love Buffalo. I know the city's a crap hole, but everyone that lives there is awesome. And I know they support the Sabres as well as they can, despite them doing nothing to deserve it. But they should probably be relocated. I'd say the Blue Jackets first. The Blue Jackets move them first because they've never been successful. At least the Sabres have history. They've been there for longer. And, yeah.
I got you. I clipped it.
Well,
that's a wild hot take.
But it's true.
That is so wild.
If you're the NHL, you could make all the money of adding a new team just by relocating one of these franchises into a big Quebec market where everybody there watches hockey. The stadium will be packed every year, even if they're awful. Because the Canadians do it. The Canadians have had several bad years as of late, and they still own the league in attendance. They have the biggest stadium. They basically have the most attendance. Canada loves hockey. They'll support anything, any bullshit. You think people in like Phoenix and Houston and Atlanta are going to support bad hockey teams? We've already seen it doesn't work. But Canada, they always do. Anyways, what's your hot take?
God, man. Here's the thing. I have a couple buddies who are from Columbus, Ohio, like live on the OSU campus or near it. And they love the Columbus Blue Jackets. They think that the Columbus Blue Jackets are like one of the best. They know that it struggles, but they love that team heart and soul. So I'm going to tell them to come to the 66-minute mark of this video and to hear your hot take and to leave comments.
The fans don't deserve it, though. Like, I'm not saying the fans deserve it. Like, when you with the Browns, and they're like, oh, yeah, we got to move them because the team is bad. It's small market, no history. Because Columbus has only existed since, 99? And they have never won. They don't generate a lot of revenue for the league. They don't have any, marquee rivalries or any historic playoff moments or a big playoff run. If you were to move any team, it'd be them with the Sabres in second. So, fans, I'm not dunking on you. Because I would not go to watch the Sabres right now. I would not spend money on the Sabres whatsoever. That's what happened with St. Louis. Why would we spend money to watch the Rams if we know they're going to be bad every year?
Dude, that hot take, oh my God, that makes mine look like ice. That makes mine look like absolute, Arctic water compared to yours, which is like the temperature of the sun hot take. Man, you showed me up on this one. All right, fair enough. No, my hot take was just going to be that, I think Baker Mayfield deserves the money that, Mahomes, Purdy, Allen, and Lamar are getting paid. I think he needs to get paid the same thing with the Buccaneers. I mean, he's on a one-year deal right now, so he's not technically their franchise quarterback. They have him as a swing quarterback. But I think you need to put that franchise label on him, and you need to give him that contract to actually say yes, Baker is our solution for the post-Tom Brady era. In Tampa Bay, he is our official replacement. He is our franchise quarterback going forward. And Yeah, that's my hot take. God, my hot take sucks.
I don't think that
compared
he
to
would even
yours.
take it, though. Baker Mayfield wants to win. You can tell the locker room
Yeah.
loves him. Everyone loves him. I think he'd do a Brady pay cut. Take
No.
less than the market value, but you're right. He does deserve the money because of what he's doing for his football team week in and week out. So I agree. That's a good hot take.
No, I think he definitely would take longevity contract with a little bit less money than the
Yes.
shorter contracts with
Get that job security, fan favorite, the whole
yeah,
9 yards. Because he hasn't had that job security. Cleveland booted him. The Panthers booted him. I think he wants to stay in Tampa Bay for the rest of his career. So he would take a long deal on a slight pay cut, and then maybe towards the end, or like the bonuses. Throw on those bonuses for him, because he'll play for him. You already know he's going to play hard.
Okay, so actually, I thought he was under a 1 year. He was under a 1 year, but actually, he signed. I forgot in March of 2024, so just last year, he signed a 3-year contract extension worth up to $100 million. So I mean, he's getting paid pretty well, but he's not getting paid to the level of Mahomes, of Purdy, of Allen, or Lamar.
He's getting those
they're
30
all
million.
getting paid leaps and bounds.
He's getting 30 mil a year, basically, with the bonuses, which he's going to hit this year. Whatever bonuses he has, I guarantee you he hits it, because he's playing out of his damn mind right now.
Oh, yeah.
But that is all for Into the Trenches, now our favorite segment of the week, where we both show you we don't know what the hell we're doing. We just don't know. We can't win any money. We suck.
No, we
this
can't.
month has not been
We're
good
awful.
for us. It's time for Battle of the Bets, and look at the numbers coming in. I am still 2-0 on the year, but man, my money is starting to dwindle. I was up $200, and now I'm only up $100 in the history of us doing this. You have yet to win a bet. We're going to try to change it this week. We got $50 remaining. We are deadlocked. 2 legs apiece. Whoever wins the first bet's probably going to win this month. Jet, what do you got for us?
So, first bet is going to be DK Metcalf. Higher than 64.5 receiving yards. I don't think that this is definitely going to be one of my safer bets because DK Metcalf is that wide receiver one in the Steelers. You've seen Aaron Rodgers slowly but surely progress to throwing to him more. He's gotten more and more comfortable into that lineup, and he's just become a really big playmaker for the Steelers this year since they got him off of the Who am I talking about? The Seattle Seahawks. Seattle, Washington. Same difference.
He'd be so good on the Commanders. You say that. You said Washington. He'd be so good over there.
He'd be so baller on the Commanders. But no, he's been a playmaker ever since. Moving on to the second one, though, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Now, we both want the Mariners to win. We both want them to go to the World Series. We both want that to happen. That's why, although this is higher, it is higher on 1.5 hits, runs, or RBIs. All he's got to do is get 2 hits, 2 first base hits, and that's it. And I hit my bet, and I'm fine.
Wait, did you say first base hit?
Yeah, 1 base hit.
It's a single.
Anyways. Yeah, single. There you go.
Sorry, it was just that was like the most non-ball knower thing I've ever heard.
Hey, man,
1 base
I know
hit.
ball. It's just I was trying to get the flow
No,
going.
I understand. I know where your priorities are. You don't care about baseball. You don't care about any of us or any of the teams.
Look, man, I'll care about baseball when the Cardinals actually can do something other than coin the dumbass phrase of youngry.
Yeah.
All right?
Fair enough. All right.
And then third and final one, we're going back to Mizzou. We're going back to the running back. He didn't help me last week, but for God's sakes, I hope Mizzou learned after... Which, by the way, the Mizzou-Bama game was a fun experience. My grandma had a great time. I had a great time. She was teasing me literally the rest of the day of, hey, the score changed yet? No, Grandma, Bama still won. You don't gotta keep pestering me about it. I know they won. Love her dearly, but yeah, she had a lot of fun with that one. But last week they did not use Ahmad Hardy, and it showed, and it cost them dearly. I think they're going to go right back to Ahmad, learn from their mistakes, and he's going to get higher than 90.5 rushing yards. So 91 rushing yards, that's all he's got to get for me to hit mine. And that is my bets. I'm betting $10. I'm being real safe this week. I just want to get something on the board. It will return me 60. But yeah, that's about all I've got going. How about you, Zuggy? How's your line looking? What you got going for us, buddy?
I'm just going to let everyone know before I show it. This is the safest, most risk-adverse pick in the history of Zuggy Zone. We have never seen odds this low in the history of the show. I'm betting $20 to win 46.
Oh, God.
This is, I want to win Battle of the Bets, and I don't care how I do it. So far in the playoffs this year, Jorge Polanco has been outstanding for the Mariners. He's delivered us all these great moments. He's been such a huge part of the offense, and I hated the signing when we brought him in. He was really bad last year. I see these lines, and I'm like, okay, he's got a hit in every game, if not multiple. He's going to get a hit. It's also Max Scherzer on the mound, who has been really bad this year. And then you got Jorge Polanco with half a base. I think he can get a hit, which would also cover half a base. We're done. One hit and 2 legs are done on this one. Like, I don't know what Underdog was thinking when they put these lines out there, but maybe they were thinking of me and said, Zuggy would be the type of guy to bet on this. Let's throw him a bone. The one I am slightly concerned about, and I shouldn't be because it's the Dolphins' defense, Quinshon Judkins higher than 92.5 rushing yards. He's only gone higher than that once in his career, but it's the Dolphins. They allow more rush yards than anybody but the Cowboys. The Browns are going to run the ball a lot. It's going to be a windy, awful day. And even if the Dolphins stack the box, they cannot stop the run. Give me Quinshon Judkins over 92.5 rush yards, and give me my 46 doubloons, and hopefully a win this week in Battle of the Bets. You got any finishing thoughts on that?
Look, I'm just saying if both our bets hit, this will not only be the first, if this hits, this will be my first bet to ever hit on this season of Zuggy Zone, which is awesome. However, if both of our bets hit on this week, I'm technically up for the month on 60 to 46. So
you would be.
Here's hoping I win this week. But no, I think your bets are good. They're safe. We're both going safe this week. So I think next week we're both going to do a Hail Mary of...
If they don't hit, I'm doing the same thing.
Nothing.
I'm letting you know. If these don't hit, my last bet is going to be even more safe. I'm going to be like, okay, guys, here's $30 to win 31. Like, it's going to be the safest garbage I can find because I can't put up a 0. I know you've done it twice. I know you're in the same boat now. Zeros don't look good. So we got to work on that.
I have $40 for the final week. I'll do a Hail Mary.
All right. Well, that's all for Battle of the Bets. We're going to move into wins and losses where we go through the standings of the leagues going on, kind of give you guys our thoughts on things. And we're going to start off with the NHL.
And actually, since Zuggy here is our bigger head of hockey, and I'm a little bit bigger into football. Zuggy, if you want to go ahead and take the lead on NHL, and when we swap over, I'll go ahead and take the lead on NFL.
Well, I'll just tell you guys what stands out to me off the rip. We're not going to look at any wild card BS to start the year because it's just, we've only played a few games. The Detroit Red Wings, the Iser plan, it has not worked over the last forever now. Trying to rebuild, become successful. It's only 4 games into the year, but they've won 3 in a row, and they look pretty decent. And I know they're winning tight games. They're not winning by a whole lot. Look at their differential. They've won 3 games, and their differential is +3. Not winning by a whole lot, but it's enough to put them at the top of the Atlantic, which is always a very highly contested division. And then you got the Boston Bruins. Who would have thought that? Their team was completely gutted last year at the trade deadline. You said goodbye to Marchand and the lot. Pasternak's all you got left. 3-1. And then the Buffalo Sabres, after 3 games on the season, fans were already wearing bags over their heads. Everyone was calling for heads. The GM needs to go. The coach needs to go. That is still the case, but they finally won one. And they won by scoring, 7 or 8 goals last night? And look at their differential. They're still -4 on the year. And they outscored their opponent by 1 billion last night. And then the Senators off to a really poor start. Wouldn't have thought that one. Carolina Hurricanes on top of the Metro with the Capitals right behind them and the Devils. That is almost exactly how we predicted it. And the Islanders, they somehow got the first overall pick last year. We're all like, how the hell did a borderline playoff team in both the NBA and the NHL get the first overall pick? Well, now they're playing like it because they're 0-3, bottom of the division. So, yeah, they're not good at hockey.
Blue Jackets, 1 and 2, still technically better than Sabres. So I think if anyone relocates, it's the Sabres.
No, it should be the Blue Jackets.
But we don't need to go into that one.
It should be the Blue Jackets. The Central Division's stacked. I mean, you look across the board here. No one has a losing record, which is crazy to say. But every team in here is solid. They have good depth. I'm disappointed in the Blues right now. Last night was unacceptable, completely unacceptable.
-5 differential.
I
And that is all from last night, by the way.
It's the 2 losses we've had have been inexcusably bad to the Wild and to the Blackhawks. And in both of those games, it was rush opportunities, the transition game for the other team going crazy, us just not doing a good job of getting back on defense and leaving our goalie out to dry. And honestly, Hofer last night kind of just deserved this bullshit because you gave the Blackhawks a free goal early in the game by just passing it to one of their players. And then the second goal, what the hell? That's a save I would legitimately make. I'm so confident. I'm so dead ass. And then we got the Pacific. It's kind of the teams you'd think, except the Kraken are cracking right now. They're actually pretty solid. The Flames look like shit. Like abysmal dog shit. They look really bad. We knew they weren't going to be good. And we kind of said, I know when we did our predictions, I said that, hey, they're either going to be middle of the pack or they're going to be a tanking lottery team. Well, they're a lottery team right now. And hey, look at your Sharks. They're not in last place.
They're not in last place. It's a start.
All right. That is wins and losses for the NHL. Let's move over to the NFL. Jet, what do you got?
So let's just go division by division, and we're going to start with the AFC, and more specifically, the AFC East, Mr. Zuggy's division here. We still have the New England Patriots sitting atop of that one with a +30 differential, but you know what's funny? They're tied with the Buffalo Bills with that differential as well and record. However, the Pats, they play, who do they play again? That's right, the Tennessee Titans, who are 1-5.
Ugh.
So while they might be tied for now, it's not a division win, but it's still going to be a win where they move to 5-2. So they're still going to be on top of the Bills.
We got
while
the
they go into
Panthers.
the bye week.
We got the Panthers the week afterwards. Yeah, Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard are going to set rushing records against us, but we'll still win and we'll tie it right back up. Right?
Exactly.
Right, Buffalo?
Something like that.
You're going to win against the Panthers, right? Off of a bye? Yeah.
Next one is my division, the AFC North, where, funnily enough, the top 2 teams, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals, 2-4 and 4-1. God, those differentials.
Can we just
I don't want to say them
relegate?
because
This division doesn't fucking count. If the Steelers win the division, this does not count.
Bad.
We're not counting it as you won the AFC North. Everyone else lost the AFC North. You just existed. You brought in Rodgers and said, okay, I guess we'll take the division.
The biggest upset out of this entire division is the fact that the Ravens are 1-5 and not on top of the division. That's about the only real upset. However, I mean, we have an AFC North matchup tonight. It's going to be Bengals versus Steelers tonight. And I'm not going to lie, but I think both of us have the Steelers going forward with this one. So, I mean, it's not like that'll change the standings. They'll stay exactly where they are. Moving to the AFC South, Colts over the Jags, over the Texans, over the Titans. We said it at the beginning of the season that we actually thought the Texans were going to win this division. I think the Texans are now firmly set to be second to last the rest of the year. Jags are looking good, but not great. The Colts, we don't know what happened. They're playing with black magic. They got a hold of whatever witchcraft the Chiefs have been using the past few years, and they decided we're going to sprinkle it on our footballs for the year. And they're 5-1. So yeah, if you're a betting man, bet on the Colts to at least get to the playoffs this year. And then we go to the AFC West, which has, again, been dominated by one team pretty much the entirety of it. And now they're sitting at 3rd in the division. However, they're going against the Raiders. And I'm not going to lie, I see the Raiders winning. No,
you don't.
I see the Chiefs winning this one. I see the Raiders losing this one. There we go. I had to catch myself. I almost screwed up. And so that's going to boost them up to where, you know, they have another conference win. They're 2-2. The Broncos, they're at 3-2 with conference, and the Chargers are 4-0. So the Chiefs will go to 4-3. If the Broncos lose, they'll be at 4-3, but with more conference wins, they're still going to be second place. And the Chargers are pretty much firmly set. Even if they're 4-3, they're still technically the best in the conference. So they're sitting atop the West comfortably. Now let's go over to the NFC side. Eagles, Commanders, Cowboys, Giants, the most historic of them all. 2-4, 2-3-1, 3-3, and 4-2. I don't think anybody really expected anything different. This division has had different winners every single year. And I mean, the Eagles have just been dominant so far this year. They are coming off of back-to-back losses, but I don't see that changing.
Well, you do actually, because you have the Vikings winning this week.
I do, but I still somehow think. But again, 3-1 in conference. Commanders are 1-3. Even with that loss, and the Commanders win their game, technically, Eagles are still better in the conference. So yeah. NFC North. Packers, Lions, Vikings, Bears. I definitely, Packers are 3-1-1. Detroit 4-2. Vikings 3-2. Chicago 3-2. Nobody has a losing record in this division. That's actually really shocking.
How the hell does this tiebreaker work? Like, what am I looking at? 3-1-1 wins the. Like, I know they have tiebreaker over the Lions because they beat them, but I guess you don't see ties a lot. How does 4-2 not? And the Packers have played another game.
Yeah.
What am I missing here? Okay, a tiebreaker or maybe ESPN's website's being weird, but either way.
Maybe, but I think it's because they have 2 losses, and technically the Packers only have 1 loss. But
well, I guess they have the higher winning percentage. That's what it is. That's what it's sorting by on this thing. It's sorting by winning percentage.
Yeah, they have a higher winning percentage.
So okay, I'm a dingus. That's on me for not seeing the big blue line that says percentage. That's like staring me in the bruh, whatever. All right.
Speaking of percentage, we're actually going to a team that has the highest percentage in the NFC within the NFC South, and that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers sitting at 5-1 with the Falcons behind them at 3-2, Panthers at 3-3, and Saints at 1-5. The Saints are just tanking for Arch Manning. That's all that this is. The Panthers, they're still trying to fight to, I guess, prove Bryce Young was worth the first overall pick, but he really wasn't. So I mean,
so I think I figured him out. I really feel like now that I've watched enough on him and I've looked at the stats, I believe I can now predict when he is and isn't going to have a good game, which, if my formula starts working, Battle of the Vets is about to be easy because I can get some free Bryce Young stuff.
That's not even fair. But anyway, Falcons, apparently Michael Penix Jr. is finally figuring it out. And then the Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield's a cheat code. Baker Mayfield's all you need. The Browns should have never cut him. If anybody should be cutting, you should have never cut me. It should be Baker Mayfield to the Browns, not Jake Browning. Thank God you got replaced, but God, why did it have to be Joe Flacco? Moving on to the final division in all of football, and that is the NFC West, and that is 4-2, 4-2, 4-2, 2-4. I'm not lying to you people. If you look at their standings, the Niners, the Seahawks, and the Rams all are in a deadlock right now for this division. And all 4 of Niners' wins have been conference wins, mind you. Because their conference play, they're 4-1, which means one of their losses is conference, and all 4 of their wins are conference. That holds a lot of weight for this team. That's awesome, especially with such an injured roster.
May I point out the 3-0 in the division? Like, this division is going to come down to the last week. That's the tiebreaker right there, 3-0. If they end up tying with the Seahawks or the Rams, which seems very likely at this point, the fact that they've already almost ran the table on the division, that's going to look really good come January.
Oh, yeah.
And then we can take a look at the playoff stuff if you want.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and run the playoffs for y'all. We're going into week 7. There's not really much to talk about. But if the season were to end tonight, these are the teams that would be in on the AFC side. The Colts would have the 1 seed. Wild to say that in the Big 25. Followed by the Steelers, the Chargers, the Patriots, back, Bills, Jaguars, and the Broncos. So that means the usual suspects of the Chiefs, the Bengals, and the Ravens would be completely absent from the playoffs if the season were to end tonight.
God, please do it for me. Please, God.
Moving over to the NFC.
Yeah, let's look at these motherfuckers over here.
The Bucks, the Packers, the Niners, the Eagles, the Seahawks, the Lions, and the Rams. Those are pretty much your usual suspects. They're normally in there pretty often. Maybe not the Bucks as much, but the rest of them, yeah, they're pretty in there. I think the one that's most shocking out of all that, the regular season champions, the ones that always brag, we damn boys, America's team. Dallas Cowboys currently sitting at
What
13th
the
in their own
hell?
conference. They're sitting at 13th in their own conference at a record of 2-3-1, so they're not even close to making the playoffs if it were to end tonight. So maybe the Cowboys can step it up, but I'm actually hoping the Giants can step up.
I have some breaking news that pisses me off to no end.
I love it.
It's not sports related. It's actually very niche. I just want to ask the
it?
audience at home, how the hell can Qdoba run out of tortilla strips? Like, how? They're out. They're sold out. How are we out of tortilla strips?
Are you talking about the Qdoba on campus?
Yes. How are we out of
tortilla strips?
You sell tacos and burritos. How are you out? What do you mean you're out? Go find some chips and smash them up and throw them on my taco. I'm on it, bro. What do you mean? Anyways, sorry for completely interrupting you. I just figured the people at home need to know that this is a thing happening. This is a travesty.
Oh my, it's tragic.
This might be one of the worst days in American history.
How do you run out of tortilla strips on a college campus Qdoba too?
I don't know. They're not that busy. They're busy, but they're not crazy.
No, that Chick-fil-A though, that's busy.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A is disgustingly busy. All right. Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys this. My order coming into today, since everyone's so interested. Also, the show's essentially over. We're wrapping things up here. So we're going with the 3 tacos, going with a fountain juice, going with lettuce on top of it with ground beef. I was going to do tortilla strips, but we don't have that today. Throwing some salsa roja on it, and then adding a brownie for dessert. That might be an MVP dinner. Give me the MVP over Baker Mayfield.
Dinner.
All right, guys. That is all for Zuggy Zone. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you missed anything from today's show, there'll be YouTube shorts out on YouTube, and the full show will be uploaded as a video as soon as we are done with this today. Jet, do you have any final thoughts before we send it out?
Everybody, thank you all for tuning in. We absolutely love doing this show. Sorry if it seems a little rushed, but
we gave
y'all the news. We gave y'all the news, and to be honest, that's all you could ask for. So I hope you all have a beautiful weekend. Can't wait to see y'all next week.
All right, I'll leave you guys on my final thoughts of the day. If, for whatever reason, you're in a class that you don't care about and you want to cheat on an assignment, here's the things you need to do. Turn off your history on Google Docs, or go on and do it on Word and turn off autosave. Because if you have autosave turned on, teachers can go back through all the saved things if they pull you aside. So make sure you turn that off, because that happened today and I had to panic and start deleting stuff while she wasn't looking so that I didn't get caught. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. And
one last breaking news I want to throw to y'all.
Breaking news.
Play the outro.
I'm playing the outro music. Here we go.
Everybody go to the Roar Network YouTube page alongside ours, because most recently, 11 minutes ago, our interview with 2 women's rugby players of Lindenwood Women's Rugby are there. Go check it out. Thank you all. I'm so excited that video's up.
We'll see you guys. We got 3 seconds till the drop. See you guys. Bye. Bye.